Hey, what's good, y'all? What's good? Um, Terence Crawford. I want to talk about him for a minute. Coming off the huge knockout victory performance of the year over Errol Spence on July 29th, it looked like Terence Crawford has been having a huge problem finding an opponent because um his first priority fight he wanted was Canelo Alvarez. Canelo he turned it down, said that he wanted to fight. He was a kind of iffy on it back and forth. And I think a couple of days ago he officially announced that he will not be fighting Terence Crawford next, or probably not ever, you know. Because the talks and the hype, it sounded like that fight probably was going to be for May, because they say that David Benavidez wasn't an option. Um, and Terence Crawford, he's got a lot of people behind him in the boxing community that really feels like he can beat he can beat Canelo, move up 3 weight classes in one shot, no tune ups, no nothing, that he can go in there and beat the undisputed champion. And that was it. See, me as a fan, I wasn't prioritizing that fight, but if that fight would have been made, I would have been all with it. Canelo said he don't want the fight because Crawford is coming from welterweight, and people will have excuses for him and won't give him credit. And he's right. For me, I wouldn't give him credit. That fight is all about to see if Crawford can beat the bigger guy and take the belts in the 3rd weight class. You know, because Canelo just fought Jamel Charlo, and Jamel Charlo moved up 2 weight classes, and that fight looked it like the weight made most of the difference. You know what I mean? Canelo didn't even have to do much. As soon as Canelo went to touching Jamel, he kind of mailed it in. He didn't even try to do too much offensively, because the power of Canelo and the counter ability, Canelo didn't even have to counter him much because he didn't throw much. So people are kind of expecting the same thing from Crawford moving up 3 weight classes. You know, well, that's what Canelo is expecting. Now, Tim Tszyu, they say that Tim Tszyu was a possible option for Terence Crawford because he's the WBO champ at 147, of course, after he beat Errol Spence. And you can use the WBO to get a fight in a weight class above Tim Tszyu, WBO champ. He probably could have got him mandated. But I heard that Tim Tszyu was offered the Crawford fight and he turned it down to get a Thurman fight in for some reason. I don't know why Tim Tszyu would turn it down. That'd be his one of his biggest lucrative fights. I don't know if he trying to get in the Canelo running or not, but Tim Tszyu turned down Crawford. He acknowledged Crawford as a tough fight. Tim Tszyu kind of just ducked him pretty much. That ain't got nothing to do with PBC. These fighters just probably just don't want to fight Crawford. And it can't be PBC if they offered Tim Tszyu the Bud Crawford fight, you know. And Jamel Charlo, Terence Crawford himself said that he don't really want to mess with Jamel Charlo after how he looked against Canelo Alvarez. You know, he looked it real bad, and Crawford already confident that he can beat him. He just gonna feel like he gonna get too much easy work and too too much. He won't get no credit for beating Jamel because Canelo already did it and shit. So who knows? Maybe he will change his mind and try to want the Jamel Charlo fight, but that really ain't even there like that either. So is it time? Is it finally time for Boots to get his shot at one of the big dogs? You know, and I think as far as welterweight fights, you know, the right two people got the belts. I think that these two are the best welterweights in the world. So, and I think that this fight makes sense. And this the fight that I kind of want the most because, you know, he beat Spence. He ain't take no damage. So it ain't too much to ask him to fight Boots. You know, if he ain't getting none of these other fights, why not give Boots a shot? You know, Crawford 36. He ain't too old. You see now he looked at that Spence fight. Of course he gonna still be the favorite. It's just that Jerron Ennis got a lot of the same skills. It looked like I know that he's fighting lower tier, but it looked like that stuff could translate against a Crawford. You know, I see Boots having some success against Crawford if they were to fight. If Boots had the name, this probably would be the biggest fight in boxing. But Boots just don't have that big name to offer the big dollars to be an opponent of his. So Crawford and his team, they just acting like Boots just never gonna get the fight. He ain't worth it. You know, they can play that role because he really isn't like a Tank level, Ryan Garcia level star. So that's always a excuse not to fight him. But I I believe that he'll get decent money. Probably not the money that he just got for Errol Spence, but he just acting like it's the same money as fighting Mean Machine and those guys. I highly doubt that it's the same money as that. He gonna have one of his biggest paydays in his career. So I just disagree with just pushing Boots off as a not worth it fight. And Bud, he already said that he want to see the young bucks get their shots. You know, you got to lead. You want to be the best fighter in this generation. You got to do what nobody else is doing. You know, you don't see Canelo fighting Benavidez or nothing like that. If you fight Boots, you'll be 3 times undisputed, like the same way Clarissa Shields did. Like in the weight class you was already in, but you lost the belt, and when they got it back, that's still considered double undisputed in that weight class. So if he was to go and knock out Boots, beat Boots, that's 3 times undisputed for Terence Crawford. That's Henry Armstrong type of stuff, you know. That's Boots offering something. You'll get a couple dollars and you'll go down in them history books. Crawford been fighting his whole career, you know, legacy fights. He went the legacy route. He didn't go the Instagram route, trying to be, you know, he just see another young fighter on the same shit you was on. You know, I just felt like he deserved his shot, and you see he deserved his shot. But versus Boots, I think that skill for skill, the best fight in boxing on the low, and nobody like to talk about that. But All right, though. I'm gonna holla at y'all. We got to see what Terence Crawford comes up with, what fight he can get. Um, Teofimo Lopez coming off the robbery of Jermaine Ortiz. He can move up and get Bud mandated. You know, that's a fight he can make a couple dollars off of too. Teofimo, he a little star, I guess. He's bigger than Jerron Ennis, so he could just fight Tio. Bud would, after what I just seen with Jermaine Ortiz, man, Bud would probably ruin Teofimo's career. That's probably the last we gonna see of Teofimo if he moves up and mandates. So, but Bud might take that, make them little couple dollars with the Honduran. It's either that or Boots. It looks like Teofimo or Boots. If Teofimo moves up and get him mandated, I think Bud will take the fight. I don't think Bud just trying to hand over all the belts just to do it. You know. But I probably don't even think Teofimo even on that. His team after that Jermaine Ortiz, if they let that man move up, get Bud mandated and fight him and get knocked out, that just shows that they just never cared about Teofimo and they just wanted to make a dollar off of him. No way in hell anybody in Teofimo Lopez team should look at that fight and be like, we ready for Bud Crawford right now. So even that fight is probably not even on the table. Errol Spence out. They say that the networks didn't even want to pay for the rematch anyway. And he had just got a cataract surgery. He got a cataract surgery after January. That's how I knew it. That's how I knew it wasn't going to be no rematch because in the contract it say that Bud and Spence supposed to rematch and by January 1st. And Spence got his eye surgery after January 1st. So you know that fight ain't happening. He got to heal and train and do all of this and that. Like, and the networks don't even want to pay for it anyway because it was so one-sided. They did 650 thousand pay-per-views, and they wanted it to do over 1 million. So they was disappointed in that, and disappointed with how the fight played out in the ring. So that fight is not even going to be there for Bud. So Bud versus Ennis. Maybe these two need to start talking before Bud have too long of a layoff. He gonna have to fight somebody. And if he announced an Avenesian or something type, they gonna say that he ducking Boots for real. But I'm gonna holla at y'all.